Hello, my friends. Today we're here to talk about audience signals and audience segments and how we can apply these audience signals to your Google search campaigns to make sure you're getting a validated person who's in the market to buy. This helps improve clicks, CTR, and cost per conversions, as well as purchase conversions. So let's go ahead and dive in. So here we have my basically an ad account with some campaigns in it. We're going to talk about electric scooters today. And then we're going to go down here to, let's go to electric scooter. Yeah, that's the actual campaign. We have broad match, we have exact match. There's even some phrase match there. These are all the usual suspects. And we've applied all the negatives. We've even done some basic manual bidding to make sure, like on exact match for want to buy a new scooter, and that bid adjustments there. You've done all the stuff, multiple landing pages. This is a tip that could really help you match with Google audiences who are in market. Now, there's two different types of audiences that Google does. They do in market, like I was just talking about, people looking for houses, people looking for movies to watch, people looking for fast food, people looking for cars, all sorts of stuff, and identifies these people in Chrome, and it classifies them at that moment in time they're looking to do a purchase. And these include small purchases all the way to big purchases. Then you have affinity targeting. Affinity targeting is classification. In general, you're into streaming movies, or you're into comic books, or you're into motorcycles, or you're into classic cars. All those habits that you do are fed back into Chrome via search, via your habits, and you're in that pool as an affinity targeting. Now, with all these signals that come in, what Google can do is identify you as a ripe target, so to speak, even though you're doing search and you're doing a lot of hand raising there. This is an additional way to make sure that you are a highly qualified person who's about to, again, make a purchase. So here we have our search campaign. Let's go into audiences. And one quick tip I just want to make sure you guys know about: whenever you do edit, basically in demo for all your audiences, please make sure you're clicking off unknown. There should be no unknown clicked here, unless you're a tier one advertiser like Xbox, PlayStation, or Target, McDonald's, or something huge. These should always be unclicked. And unknown is basically people who identifies you as somebody that cannot classify you. So these are a lot of times people who use ad blockers. They're also people whose Google Click ID just couldn't be matched again, so they're just in unknown until they get rematched. But also it's a lot of nefarious imposters, right? Like spam and bots. So always make sure you're in these categories where it's known what you are. This is just another layer to make sure you're not incorporating spam or bots into your buys. Now, when I look at audiences, this is pretty cool. Let's go here. This is when I'm talking about. Let's go to edit. I've actually preloaded a lot of these. Let's say if we enter scooters, and that's where a lot of these came up. There you go. And the same ones came up, and I just put them here on the side. Now, here at the top, we have two different groups. We have targeting, we have observational. And remember when I said in the beginning, when you use audience segments as part of your Google search campaign, you have two options. You have targeting, which matches the search element, which in this case would be electric scooter, and then new scooters, people in market for a new scooter. There you go, right there. So say if we just use that, if we had this clicked on targeting, unless somebody was both of them, the search ad would run. That's the only way it would run. So they have to be in market for a new scooter, and they have to be using that search term. So that's the only time it fires. So one way to do this would be B2B. That's one way to do it. Because, right, you're looking for people who are highly qualified. So you only want that person, that uber target. Subscription boxes, gym memberships, maybe looking for, you're a roofer looking for clients. You only want homeowners, period. That would be it. Because you'd want roofing, homeowners, and only when those match, you want it. You don't want renters. You don't want people who don't qualify themselves. You only want that specific thing. Then you have observational. Now, observational is pretty interesting because this you can dump as much stuff as you want, and you put it in there, and you're examining how all these perform. And then you could use bid adjustments to up the bid, increase the bid for somebody who's both. So that's a new scooter plus the keyword, or other targets as well. Conversely, you can also decrease the bid. So if one of these you don't like, but you know what's in the group, that you can decrease the bid. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and hit save. Great. And go to show table. Boom, here we are. So we're in this right now. They're all in there. And this is where I was talking about the bid adjustment. Well, let's say like I was saying earlier, right? Say there's something we don't want. So in that case, we don't want people, if I'm selling brand new scooters, I don't want somebody who's in the market for a used scooter. Maybe there's like their fourth scooter, or they're buying it for a little kid, and they're gonna buy a nice scooter for their like wife, maybe down the road. But let's just say we only want new scooter people. That's the mandate. We only want people who want new scooters. In that case, for the used scooter element, we want to decrease the bid by 20% or even 25%. Right? Those are just people that chances are they won't buy. You can even decrease it to 90% or even 100%. One way you could do it is also do negative targeting. Negative targeting fits hand in hand with this because you also want that additional layer that you definitely don't want a used person showing up. That's the issue. But then let's say you want somebody new, and that's where I'm going with this. This is where the magic happens. Okay. So in this element, so say for new, well, this person who's looking for a brand new scooter, this is a highly qualified person, and they're looking for that search term right now. Well, shoot, that person's worth 35% of an increase. That's a highly qualified person. Somebody who has an auto vehicle, okay, maybe. But here's also another one, bicycles and accessories. This is one. For this one, say people enter like the hand scooters, like the little kid scooters, right? The push ones, not an electric one. Well, in that case, that's more of a bicycle, right? You want to decrease that bid. And then you'd also use negative targeting as well. That's where that comes in. And then another element you can use here is on the all visitors. This is something that comes up. So when you do this, right, when you search in on the audience segments, type in visitors, and these will show up, even purchasers. These are all connected via the audience manager. So if you go in the audience manager, that's where you set up a lot of the added cart abandonment, initiate checkout abandonment, etc. People who came to the site didn't purchase. That's where you create a lot of that. I have a video on that if you want to check that out. That's on my channel. But let's just say for this, just for heaven's sake, we want to include all visitors. It's funny. I have a travel client where I just did this, and all visitors was like a 30% click-through rate. And I was like, shit, that's like a whole remarketing campaign. Why don't we increase the bid there by 25%? Yes, you have remarketing lists. That's the whole point of that for search. But chances are somebody's going to re-enter the non-brand term, such as electric scooter, over again. They're going to enter a brand term, obviously, because they come to your site. But non-brand, you wouldn't mind them showing up again. If it's going to equal a high CTR and they're coming back, why not do an increased bid? Remember, that's a remarketing, retargeting campaign. So that's a very qualified person that's worth targeting. That means they're fence sitting at that point, and they're shopping, and they're ready to convert. And conversely, on this, you have your costs, and then you have your conversions here too. So you're able to see, before you do these bid adjustments, you're able to see how all these do. So you'll be able to say, okay, well, this is how much that particular audience segment of that person, this is how their conversions rated, and then their conversion rate. So you're able to see if they suck or not. That's what I'm saying. I don't mind doing a little bit of these, like the new scooter elements. Like, you want to target somebody who's a new person. You want to do a bid adjustment increase for somebody who's been to your site already. You know that, right? So you'd already increase the bids for that, and then let the data show. And like I said, you can change a bid anytime. You don't have to change a bid only in the beginning and that's it. You can change it a week, a month, 2 months, 6 months, whenever you want to change it. So that's the beauty of this. That's what makes it so qualified. Let's take a step back for a minute. Let's go to edit segments. Let's go back a bit, and then we're going to change some things. So let's get rid of this stuff. And I want to show you how this will work for lead gen. Say you have a roofing client and they're targeting homeowners or people looking for roofers. Let's do that right now. Roofing services. So these are people interested in hiring professionals to repair or replace a roof. I don't know about you, but that is a damn qualified person. Boom. That's it right there. And then what you'd want to do is, let's say you do homeowners, right? There it is, homeowners. And then you have that. And let's put renting. Let's put renting in there too. Watch, I'm going to show you what I'm doing with renters. So hit save. Same exact thing. You come here. And you watch our performance. But I mean, right away, you know, somebody who's into roofing is automatically a 30% increase. You know that a homeowner is at least a 25% increase in bids, right? You know that because you're looking for a highly qualified target. Google's already identified that person is looking for roofing services. Google's already identified that person is a homeowner. So why not just do this right now? Renters, you don't want anything to do with renters if you're doing a roof because you only want to target homeowners. So this would be negatively target. I mean, you'd target it negatively anyways on the search terms, but let's just say 90%. Just decrease the bid by, you don't want anything to do with those people. And then you would basically negatively target on search, like I was saying. So this is how you would do a lead campaign and incorporate that, which I love. So that's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you for watching the video, and I look forward to hearing your comments.